different here. I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's the end of the chapter though. How are we feeling? How are we feeling with this chapter? This felt like another pretty meh. I will say the choreography between Evelyn and the bull was good. That bull was hitting the woo. Nope. Yeet. Weave. Handstand on your ass. Like it was bobbing and weaving. It was a good choreographed fight, all things considered. But again, there's not much for me to sink my teeth into here. I didn't really advance anything to that degree, except Evelyn probably using her animal ability and something strong enough to handle whatever crazy power she's pumping into it. Maybe even the bulls can't handle it, but the queen net fish dolphin can. And there was one chapter where it almost looked when she was getting caught by the Pobedao guys who lured them into a trap that she was like calling it to come save her. I stand by my something rating. Do you think Siou is actually drawing this, or is the only one writing the story? I think he has editors, so he has people like helping him and maybe assistants, but he's definitely the lead and the one who's mainly in charge of this. Yes, I think he's the one writing the side story. 6 to 7, it was okay, nothing groundbreaking. Definitely better than the last, and the fight was clean. Other than the last couple of panels, nothing crazy this chapter. Yeah, I'm with y'all. Nothing super duper mega ultra crazy, but it was cool. Again, great choreography. I thought it was fantastic. Really well done. I liked it. I thought Evelyn has impressed me. Like I think as far as our regular goes, though she's spoken about her family. Like the fact that the stones are not something particularly rare there, even though they're still precious and expensive, which means she might have some cachet in standing in and with her family. She's not just like a nobody. I don't know if she's a direct descendant or not. I would be interested to know how she is viewed in her family, and if she has any connections to Elaine at all, if Elaine even is around or alive right now. Elaine's 1,000 years old. No, this is way too early for Elaine. Never mind. I'm sorry. I think Elaine, by the time the Tower God story starts for the Name Hunt Station, Kaiser the Name Hunter, she's about 1,000. So this is way too early. Never mind then. Never mind. Never mind the Elaine part. I jumped the gun there. It looked good, but it was a bit nonsensical. I guess the bull could have just ended it quickly, but it was toying with them. Though why toy with Eve and Lou and not Gramps? I wonder if this. I'm under the impression for some reason the Bulls are working for Rahab or somebody else right now, so they can't just eat anyone or everyone they want. Maybe if you have potential or you're strong, but if you're weak, you can you can be eaten. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but you're right. Bring back this choreography for season 4 Siou, specifically when Rand comes back. We need more Rand. I think what's interesting is Kurigam has improved her pacing, where Siou somewhat got worse at pacing. Well, I can probably explain that. When I first read this, I thought that she was multiple people and one body, but it seems I was correct for now. Yes, maybe they're anima controlled. I think so. Oh, anima controlled is interesting. Even the bulls. I think the difference between I think Oda has developed this problem. I think the biggest problem SIU has had, the reason why the pacing has slowed down is that there's too much fat that he has yet to trim or cut off the meat, right? I don't know where you guys are from or how you cook, but in my family we cut off most of the fat of the chicken and stuff like that. We don't really eat or cook that, right? You cut off the fat, you trim the parts that's not necessarily needed. Not that you can't use it for something else, but I think his I think some of his world building lore and especially his cast has become extremely bloated. I've used this example ad nauseum, but I'll use it again. And by the way, Oda has developed this issue in some ways too. That fatty part is tasty though. Hey, it's true. At one point, it felt to me that SIU had purpose and intention for each character that he introduced, even if it meant they'd be here for one arc or die, or be the catalyst to give someone else motivation. So if SIU slash Oda, but SIU is Santa Claus, sorry, Siou is Santa Claus, slave in utero, every character is a reindeer, and he has perfect control of it. Stop, halt, left, right, U-turn, fly, whatever. But as the ever expanding cast started to grow he's done small things to make characters interesting. Caliban has the essence of bravery and comes from this family. Hajin Sung is the massacre. Oh, this character has two names, Ha and Pobadao. Oh, you're Kun and Pobadao. Oh, like, okay, you're from the wall of the age of Genesis with Cha and whatnot. Cha's the first descendant of man or mankind or something. Like, you've added an epithet, a title, a sobriquet, or some type of description to these high rankers and new characters, or introduce them in a family that makes them intriguing, but you're not highlighting any of those things because you're so focused on Bam or Traumare versus Gustang, whatever the case may be. So at this point, the sled is pulling Siou and his face is in the snow and he's getting dragged because he has no control over the ever-expanding cast anymore. He doesn't have intentionality with each character anymore to the same degree he used to in the first two seasons. And I think that is one of the main things that has dramatically affected the pacing. There's things I'd argue we want focused on that doesn't get focused on. And something where, like, that's not that important, that he'll just decide to laser in and key in on. And I think that has messed with the pacing. I think Kurigama has always been the far superior writer. And as a result of that, she just tackled it better. Plus, from the jump, she said there's 10 main characters, not just Lee's. So as a result of that, I think she handled the ever-expanding cast better. But even at that, even with her cast, it's not overly bloated. Everyone feels important, intentional, and has some thematic role to play. So, anyways, that's why I think the pacing has been very up and down, roller coastery. This story is maybe bigger than he intended at the very beginning. That's a possibility, especially if he only wanted it to be a part of the Tales User Story universe. Though I guess he answered someone's question at the con, so he's about 60% done. Yes, I remember that. We'll talk about that in a second. So that's why his face is square. The sled full. TOG was just a dream an army boy had. I feel that. Ad break. All right. Do you think SIU should start killing off main important characters in TOG proper? What do you think it should be to benefit the story? I think Aguero will be great for that role. Yeah, I don't think Aguero will ever die. For me, it's not necessarily kill off the characters, but if you don't have something important to do with them, give them an off-screen side mission or just shy away from them until the moment makes sense. Why kind of show me Anakin and Dorsey and Traveler getting whipped, talking about Emily and where's who and who, if that didn't amount to anything? Why there's some, like, Rachel appeared in the great chess match, and I felt for the first time in Tower of God, Rachel didn't have any impactful important role to play there. Why add her there? I think when you inject Rachel into a scene, into a arc, into a moment of Tower of God, it always elevates the scene or the moment or the event. Where for the first time I felt like she took away from it because I'm like, why is she here? It could be even as simple as, hey, I don't want to climb anymore. This shit is scary. I'm going to just go back to the middle tower on floor 55 or something or whatever. I'm going to go there's a lot of things you can do to either remove a character, sideline them, and take them out the story without killing them. You know what I'm saying? Welcome back. I got so excited when Rachel was around for the great chess match, then I was let down when she did nothing. So was I. So yes, I think he needs to get rid of some of these characters. Like, I know a lot of you guys like Go-Sang and like Mi-Sang or what's the Boro or even characters like Sachi Faker, but what are they doing? What is the general significance of them at this point? Like, they're not important. Get them out the story. Barrow, the fat girl with the lollipop. Go. You're not important. Get him out of there. Wagnan's important. That's different. He could stay around, but you know what I mean? Like, to me, there's just a little extra stuff that you can get rid in the editor. That's all I'm saying. I would have thought we were around 75. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. I'm surprised we're only at 60%. I would have thought we were around 75 done, considering we already have family heads dying and how strong Bam already is. I'm with you. So if you guys don't know, I'll probably drop the video today. SIU had said maybe tomorrow. Someone had asked him a question. This is actually documented. You can find the link and you can find the guy asking the question and it being translated. How far is Tower of God in terms of completion? I think he said 64, then like around 60%. And then someone asked, is Phantom Minim an Axis? I guess maybe. I don't know if he's read the Urek'S Mazino side story already or whatever, but he asked if Phantom Minim is still an Axis, because a question and a conversation we had prior to was, with the lore change of the whole primordial darkness and the shining ones, is he still an Axis? He is. What does that actually mean now, though? Does it keep its original definition? If it does, what does that mean for the characters that have to possibly fight him? Does that mean Urek'S Mazino has to become an Axis to beat him? I think so. So it adds another layer to it, Interesting stuff. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah. Sweet and Sour can stay gone. I'm crying. I think it's obvious how TOG is going to end. Bam V is going to kill the family heads and place his friends as the new family heads. That makes sense. Only Wagner is important. It just means we have 15 to 20 more years of TOG. I don't got 15 more years in me. Wrap this up in 6 to 8. Sachi Faker has fans. He does. Damn, I really blanked Haku's poll. I'm surprised we're at 60%. I thought we were at 30%, given that we're just 1/3 up the tower, and I see the story continuing even after our cast reaches the top. Yeah, I'm with what Han said. I think we'll montage and skip a lot of floors. I don't think we'll go to each individual floor like that. So 60% wasn't crazy to me. If you had asked me what I thought, I would have told you about 70% though. 60 is not that crazy to me, all things considered. So, but yeah, how do you guys feel about Phantom Minim still being in Access with the new information that we got with the first Urek'S Mazino's Ascent story? Does that make sense to y'all? Do you like that? Do you not like that? Like, how are we feeling about that? And what does that mean? Does Bam and Mazino and Enryu have to become an Access to contend? Will somebody fight him in the Tales user story universe outside the tower, aka Mazino, after he becomes an Access? Like, I do feel that most of us were leaning that maybe he's not anymore. Like, what does that mean at this point? I thought we were 90%. That's crazy. I wonder if SIU meant 60% done in terms of run length or just story beats content. I don't know. That's a totally fair question. Access thing isn't a part of the story yet, so I don't care. Don't think it'll matter much. Okay, that's fair. I just feel like Phantom Minim is becoming more important in the story, so if he's an Axis and he can rewrite reality, I don't think anyone in the tower could beat him right now, even if they all ganged up on him. I thought for sure that Access wasn't a thing anymore. I don't know how this will work out. Yeah. I guess we'll just have to see. Wait and see and be patient, wait it out, but that's where we're at right now. That's where we at. So, Urek'S Mazino, man. Urek'S Mazino. Yada yada boom, bada bing. Bada boom, bada bing. And her. She's interesting. I got a little bit of a theory that I put on Patreon that you guys are gonna see. Why did I make him so big? With Fanta's return in the spin-off, I suspect he's gonna have a role to play in the season 4, or at least by the end of the main story. I could see him pulling up at the end game, but I feel like somehow this has to tie into Mazino's lore in the main story. SI needs to name this princess stat. What if I told you some people think this is Bayek Ryun? Or there's a theory out that this could be Bayek. How would you feel about that? Would that move you? Would it behoove you to keep reading? I wonder if the translator understands the story enough for him to relay the question to SIU. It was a woman. And the person who posed the question was very slow, deliberate, and intentional, and perfectly enunciated themselves as to not misconstrue anything. I get your question. does this person even know what an access is to translate that into, I guess, Korean to relate to Siou? Is the translator even familiar with the Tower of God story? Or did you just get somebody who can speak English and Korean? It's a fair question, but I felt like if you look at the whole, like how it was posed, I think it was asked in a very, very, very intentional way that made it hard to misunderstand what was going on, if that makes sense. That's my opinion. That's what I think, anyways. This being by Korean would be crazy. I think the only thing that's giving me pause to the theory is just that they were placed as a fisherman, not a wave controller, which and you know Bayak's a very gifted wave controller, so that's the only thing that's really stopping me from believing it. Bayak Ryun being the princess is like her. It's like people thinking Karaka is a girl, fictional. That's not gonna happen. Anyway, fair enough. I ain't saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just gonna present to y'all a theory that was presented to me at some point. That's all. What did I just hit? Oh, my Steam Deck case. What do Urek have to do to beat Phantom if he's not an access? Does he just die trying to fight him? I think if Urek gets a lot stronger and somehow, I don't know if this is possible, but if he can escape the tower and he's gotten a lot stronger with his Luminous One, his physical abilities, his battle intellect, IQ, plus can somehow take his Shinsu ability with him outside the tower, maybe that is enough for him to contend with Phantom Minim. If Phantom Minim is an access, he has to be an access to be able to beat him. I don't see how he would win otherwise. There have been weird things in the tower, to be fair. Yeah. Not gonna lie, I'm not even mad at the theory, though, because if a ninja told me V is in BAM 5 years ago, I'd call him an idiot. Yeah, there's a lot of things that in Tower of God I looked at people crazy for. And like, no, it's not. And then it happened, and I went, I hit the Drewski. I hit the Shack. I was unfamiliar with your game. Kind of tight beat, you know? So yeah, Bam could beat Yuri. You got 7 years ago, during the last station, I had a debate with the 25th Bam versus Yuri Zahard, because someone thought in season 2 Bam could already beat Yuri. And I can't, and it's so funny the way I look at that now, where I'm like, Dustin's point was that something contrived and something would converge around Bam to allow him to win, escape, or look good in the fight. And it's just a funny moment in time when I look back at it. I was so like, bro, Bam's getting cooked by Yuri, and I'm like, Jalen Williams. Well, maybe Bayak is inside the princess, one of the spirits. I know when season 1 first came out, the translation for the anime was bad, probably because they had bad translators, so it would not surprise me if they got bum translator off the streets. I can't tell you yes or no because I don't know the woman, the translator, nor do I speak Korean, so I couldn't tell you that, and I wasn't there to ascertain if she was interpreting stuff properly. It's kind of like if you gave me, great example. I'm a translator for Line Webtoons. I translate from French to English, or perhaps English to French. I get a series called Tree on Top of the Mountaintop. I don't read it. I don't engage with it. I know nothing about it. But I know the languages. There's a lot of jargon and specific terms in that story I'd probably mess up and get wrong and make it end up being a bad translation because I'm not familiar with the contents of the story, the narrative, the material. So I might see a word for rancor and just put another synonym instead of rancor, or just test supervisor or something instead of rancorly Roro. You get what I'm saying? So it's totally possible that person was not familiar with TOG, but for all you know, they were and are a big fan of SIU. I don't know. Would be cool. Every day we realize the eternal truth. Dustin was right. Yep. Well, Vanka was originally a male in the blog post and ended up becoming female. The same could happen to Bayak Ryun. I think the princess part would bother me though for Bayak. That's the only thing. I don't want Bayak to be a princess. Would be cool if she has ties to the workshop. It really would. That don't underestimate the tower video aged so well, huh? Some of my old videos don't underestimate the tower. There's direct descendants and Zahard princesses. Man, I was wrong. Underestimate the tower. I got a better example. Naya, we need you to be an interpreter for Team Riot during an Arcane interview. There you go. That's way better. I know nothing about League of Legends like that. I know Ivern. I know ADC, Jungle, Gank, Sky Williams, Faker. That is the extent of my knowledge. Riven. Ooh, 7 things. I know nothing about it. So, like, it might be hard for me to ask that question because I'm like, do you believe that Faker is the greatest lane, ADC, jungler, yada yada? SKT Ponskov, Faker, Eleg. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good thing. Did anyone ask if he liked the anime? I don't know every question that was posed to him. I didn't go through that. I assumed if somebody asked him a question that was documented and he answered it, Reddit, Twitter, somewhere it would come up the same way this 60% and Phantom Minute being an Axis was. I don't have that information right now. Though at this point, I just want anything to know more about the workshop. I feel it. All right, y'all. If you had to rank this out of 10, what would you give it? I'm going to go 6.5. Mostly because I really like the choreography. I wouldn't go higher than a 7. I wouldn't go lower than a 6. So I'm going to stay 6.5. Good choreography, art good. Evelyn I kind of like now. I never disliked her. The romance fantasy thing was weird. But aside from that, she alright. I ain't mad at her. What was your guys' favorite panel? I like this one, actually. I won't even lie to you, of the princess. This one's not bad. Looking bloody. But can I find another one that I like more? Sancho getting his head eaten? Oh no, it might be this one. You little burger. You thought you old. Well, how many times we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Might be this one. I'm not gonna hold you. It just might be. Princess panel went hard. It did though. 5 out of 7. The trap was so interesting. We've barely talked about it this whole stream. Aside from the length, this could have been packaged with last week's chapter. I'm totally with you. Favorite panel is that you're getting munched on? Yeah. Did you miss my question? Did you already answer it? Sorry. Let me go back up. What did you ask me just now? There was Immortal Knight. Do you think she's an experiment by FUG, or I always thought it would be cool if she was a combination of a bunch of parasites? I guess my question would be, how did she become a Zahard princess? Because the power and method of blood is something that's kind of done by Gustang and overseen by Zahard. I feel like they'd notice something like that. My best guess is that when she was fighting with Mazino and the Ghost, and she started talking about the spirits by the 7th river, yada yada, I think those spirits reside in her. I almost want to say, like, if you're a Bleach fan and you think of Orihime's ability and like the I Reject and the little like fairies, almost like if they had their own spirits and souls and were like contained within her, and somebody can sense that. Like there's the Orihime main soul, but then there's like the other ones. I don't remember their names. Something like that. There was the question was somebody told me this on my Patreon and then gave me the links to Reddit that had it. If you go on the Tower of God Reddit, maybe you can find it. The video I'm gonna drop soon will have the link in the description though. Just give me some time. I don't have it on me right now. It's because the video's already been made and I've already posted the link. But favorite panel was when the bull looked back at Lou after he threw the spear. Like, you bitch. You threw this weak ass spear at me. Favorite panel, getting munched on. The bull dodging Lou's spear was my favorite. It would be cool if SLE does give us more on how princesses are created and powered. Yes, she's Panda from JJK. There you go. Maybe she's a living initial weapon prototype. That's interesting. Prototypes, because it's so early, right? So I wonder if that's a possibility. I like that. I like that idea. What was our favorite piece of dialogue this week? if you had to choose something. See if the GOAT Thierry Rohan was there, it would have hit. No misses. 100% accuracy. 100% field goal percentage. 100 from the field. Favorite piece of dialogue. Was anything interesting said this nothing interesting was really said, I guess. I don't know that this week deserves a best dialogue part. I kind of like the idea of Sancho being like, "I'll just get her to get me. I'll just buy a new one from her family and get a new one if I break my precious Shinsu stone." Yeah, I don't got anything crazy this week. I don't know. I'm spit. There you go. That's the one. Nah, Han got it. Spit. Spit the GOAT dialogue. Your taste gross. I don't really got nothing else. That's funny. I like that one. I'm going with that one. When Graham said that Evelyn's family would buy him a new stone, yeah, I kind of just gotta throw something out there and see what sticks at the wall. Is the Shinsu stone reminiscent of the little wand that person had in season 1 where she could control Shinsu a little bit too, but like the most expensive variant to some degree? Favorite dialogue was Lee saying Vitronym. You were waiting for me? It's about damn time. We got the Holy Trinity. We got Miss Ruin. We got the best Sora, the best Nazgul of all time. We got Vitra and the best god, the Vis and legend himself. Above all the primevals except probably Shiva. But Shiva cool, but you're raw, you're stronger, but you're not better than Yama. Yama, the Holy Trinity. I needed that. I was thinking of the wand when I saw it. Yeah, that's what I thought when the stone was brought up. And then when she used her copy and paste observer, I thought of Kun's bag. Because I remember she had like multiple crowns and stuff like that. I don't know if this is a prototype or SIU just subliminally expanding the wand lore. That's fair. I don't know. But yeah. You guys have any final questions, comments, and concerns, theories, anything else to say on the chapter? If not, we can wrap it up right here and call it a streamerino. Gonna post our discussion portion on YouTube and premiere it today. This chapter is not worthy of me going live on YouTube and talking. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna lie to you. No, shout out Kurigama and we're gone. Since if I remember correctly, items can have admin contracts to manipulate Shinsu too, so maybe this is how they work. I remember them having a way to bypass or do something. You're right. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I feel like because this was like a precious stone, maybe it's like the wand, but just a way more powerful version because it's such an expensive gem. I like her observer having cute little teeth. The fact that you can trust demise, you deserve to look at it to look like you. It's fun. Pigtails. Oh, that's cool. I feel it. Observers are pretty cool. And I think some characters have had some really cool ones and whatnot. But you gotta have them points. You gotta have that money to get it sometimes. The same way Bam. I think didn't Bam get a mad expensive pocket from Yuri? Do you think if a pocket is bad, it can't translate certain languages, or is it like a pocket lets you like understand Maxethian or Mexes? I was just wondering what do higher grade ones even mean? Is it like better connection, more Wi-Fi, more data, more RAM? What does it mean? S needs to give scouts more love. Not gonna lie, I think I'd be a scout. I think that's the position I'd be, sneaking around, being stealthy, gathering information. I'm not particularly stealthy, but being low-key, gathering information before I act, that's me. Pedro's was raw. Unfortunately, he fought Yuri. Yeah. He got the Hadouken. Better pocket equal more range for calls, I guess. They said that the dumpster babies have their own language. Candy pocket translate. Can pockets translate that, or will it just not register? I think you can translate it. It said that the higher pockets are just for higher floors, as you can't make contracts with administrators on higher floors with a low grade pocket. Always hating on the lower and middle class. You hate to see it. Even in Tower of God. Capitalism runs supreme. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for coming and joining me for this hour. That was. We had a fun discussion, all things considered. Even if the chapter wasn't particularly crazy. You two people, enjoy the conversation. Hope you like it. Drop a like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, all of that, and we'll be back next week. I might just do a stream on YouTube this week about something. I don't know. We'll see. Might just talk about something. I'm at the point where I'm ready to start streaming and talking about everything, anything, and anything again on my channel. I don't even care about keeping my algorithm in the Webtoon, Tower God, Kubera pipeline anymore. I feel too restricted, you know? All right. Signing out. It would help me out a lot and do my heart a lot of good if some of you guys who are not on the Patreon would consider pledging or maybe becoming a channel member. But shout out to the Patreon gang. Shout out to the CBLs. That is the certified BAM lovers. Appreciate y'all. But for the tier 2, we got the Priests of Fire. They might be the real CBLs. That's Brilliant Gang. And big shout out to the 5th Zen Gods, my tier 3 pledgers. Shout out to Agrona Vitera, Big Chief, Gray, Johnny Rogers, Katan, Lucky Roo, Muzaka, Naz Riley, Scobe, Simi, Zyler Scotty. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you. I'm going to have some sugared sand today. Oh yeah, that's a real meal.